So I'll bring you in a couple minutes. Let you do your grand entrance. Yes. The live stream is real. You gonna give me a countdown? Welcome everybody. We're here for the Rooted panel and workshops today. This is a special day that I'm really excited to share with you guys some of the AI hacks that we have for creatives. As you probably know, ChatGPT has taken over the world. Gemini, we've got Copilot. Every app that you ever used in the world has an AI function. We're here to kind of demystify that today. So I'm really excited to, we're going to have a special guest join us, and we're going to be talking about some of the real world use cases that creatives are using for AI in their workflows. So when we're talking about saving time, when we're talking about creating new opportunities, we're really excited to have you guys here join us today, and for everybody watching the live stream, please put your comments in the chat. We're excited to answer them for you. We're going to be doing some live demos. I'm on my Mark Zuckerberg shit today. We're here, and if you guys don't know me, my name is Jawn Taboika. I'm the co-founder of 40 Ounce Heroes. Been working in the community with creators at play for videography for the last about 10 years as well. A bit about myself. I'll get into all of that today. Got a little slide deck for you guys, so if you can see my screen here, I'm going to just share with you a bit about me. And today is going to be an exploration on sort of a before and after. So if we're looking at, how things are done as a designer, how things are done as a community coordinator, creating grant reports, and how AI can actually make those things a little bit faster. So some of the hacks we're going to go through today, I'm really excited, but before we get into that, I thought it'd be better if I just showed you a little bit about me, so you know where I'm coming from, because I think there's a lot of people out there that might be scared of AI, but just as from my point of view, I am a video editor, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a business management consultant, and I work within the technical space and the art space every day. So as you can see here, I've had a chance to travel the world, working with data centers, working with storage, as well as working within music and arts. So I'm really excited to be here at that cross section today. As you can see, I got two beautiful girls, and I still try to make time for what I'm passionate about, and AI has actually helped me do that. So we're going to talk about that today. Really quick overview of the things that I've done, just so you guys can get an idea if you're not a designer or if you are a copywriter. The pandemic sort of changed a lot of things for people, and I was fortunate enough to work at an organization called Kumu, where it was my job to train people on how to do video editing. How to do their own video production from their desk, right, in the world of Teams and Zoom calls. So I was tasked with creating a training video series. And that involved everything from taking screenshots of the platform, creating a world where we've got characters, backgrounds, spaces. This is all manual work, right, that a designer has to come up with, whether they're sourcing things or creating things originally. If you're a fan of hip-hop culture, hip-hop is actually built off of sampling, right, if we look at a lot of the culture. So I think today's conversation, and we're going to have our special guest joining us in a moment here, talking about the intersection of arts and technology. Hip-hop is that linchpin, and we're really excited to be that and show you guys some of the tools that we've used. I've worked as a UX designer as well, so what that involves sometimes is doing research, getting case studies, learning about personas, understanding technology, mood boards. All of that takes a lot of time, right? And so some of this work here that I'm just sharing with you guys on the screen, these are day-to-day things that you'll see from a designer, visual designer, graphic designer, creating UX workflows, creating trends from the information that you have, if anybody has sort of seen these types of tools, and then creating those images that help other people understand the idea. Right, that's a big part of UX design. I've been able to do some of the different kinds of websites, as you can see here, where we're building off of mobile devices, different sort of audiences and engagement points, and all the way down to festivals. I've had the opportunity to do flyers, to create the visual branding for what we get to experience every day here in Toronto and Brampton and Mississauga. And one of the proudest moments, I would say, with the team here, I'm just showing you guys kind of behind the curtain for one of our events called Team Up. Team Up was an event that we started last year with the help of the Academy Presents, led by Jesse Otaki, where we put 3 teams of 3 against each other to compete. New formats, new ways of creating audience engagement, and as you can see, a lot of work goes into those things, whether that's printing stuff, planning stuff, designing things, colorways, you name it, right? Everything that we're talking about today, that's the status quo. I'm not showing you anything new here, right? I'm just sort of trying to level set with you so that you understand, what we use AI for. And when I say we, these are creators in multi-spaces. AI can be used for text generation, image generation, sound generation, voices, video generation even. Some of the latest beta tools that have come out on the internet lately. With that being said, though, I did want to open this up here. We've got a really awesome guest that's going to be joining us. She's going to introduce herself. I've got some cool pictures that she shared with me, but MRii, why don't you come join? Welcome to the Rooted Livestream. Is that mic working? We good?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me.
We good? Perfect.
Again, thank you for having me.
Awesome. See, when we're trying to do things live, there's always that human element, right?
Yes.
We're talking about AI, but I think what is going to separate a lot of people from, being scared of AI, I think, is being able to use AI, right?
I think so too.
MRii, can you kind of share, maybe if you want to just introduce yourself to the audience here for the Rooted live stream?
Yes. So hi, my name is MRii. I'm a DJ, producer, engineer, creative entrepreneur. I do a lot of other things. I host events, and I'm very involved in the creative community in Brampton and in the GTA. And I'm very happy to be here right now. Thank you to Jesse for putting me on this festival, for performing yesterday at the show, and for being on this panel today. That's some of the stuff that I do. I also use AI a lot in my work. I feel like it helps me take a lot of the load off. It helps me save so much time. And I think we're going to get into the details on exactly how, right?
So a few minutes ago, you were talking about a friend of yours who's in university, I'm assuming.
Yes.
They're taking a course on philosophy,
Yes.
which you are not an expert on.
No.
So walk me through, for someone that's never used AI before, you help somebody learn something new?
Yes, and I learned something new in myself in that process. So I have a friend who isn't the best with reading, technology, and English isn't her first language. So when it came to completing, it's dead, maybe.
We can always share a mic too.
Cool. Yeah, we can do. Is that
You're
good?
good. Perfect.
Okay, we're back on. So I'll start over. I have a friend in school, and she's completing a nursing program, but she had to take an elective of philosophy. And she's not the best with English or reading because English wasn't her first language, and then technology as well. So when it comes to reading all these papers and stuff online, these readings, and then writing reports, she was like, girl, I can't do this. I need you to help me. And I was like, okay, let's see. I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, maybe this might be easy, Come to see long papers and stuff. I was like, I don't have the brain to read this right now and then write a report. So what I did was I turned to AI. I was like, all right, AI must know about all these philosophers. I'm not even going to say their names because I can't remember them. But I just asked them all right, what is this about? I was just having conversations with AI to learn myself, to get a better understanding, and then putting in the theme of the paper, what it is that I needed to write about. And it was really helpful, not only for me, but also for me to explain it to my friend, to let her know exactly what I'm doing with her work and how I'm helping her complete the assignments. And I learned a lot about philosophy, about myself in that process. It was really interesting. I found it really cool, and it opened something up for me that otherwise I wouldn't have gotten into, just because I would be overwhelmed with the papers and all that stuff,
So your friend was sort of stuck in this position where it's I got to learn all these things. I don't feel comfortable.
Yes.
And they came to you as their AI co-pilot.
Yes.
What I'm I'm sure that's not the only person that's come to you for
No.
help.
No.
Talk to me about your experience. So I've pulled up ChatGPT here.
Yes.
If anyone's not familiar, you've got all your chats. These are sort of independent silos that you would be having your conversations with, right?
Yes.
So as you can see on mine here, like I've sort of everything from,
Yeah.
the ingredients in my fridge,
Yeah.
saying I've got ground beef, red peppers, I'll pull this one up here. And I literally asked, what can I make with ground beef, red peppers, carrots, and some sort of noodles?
Nice.
I didn't even have the noodles I wanted to. I had like 6 or 7 options. And it spit out something. I was like, oh, okay. My daughters don't really like ginger, so let's do another option with no ginger. Bang. Right?
Wow.
With the instructions.
I love
I'm not an
that.
instructions guy when it comes to cooking. I feel it, but something like this really helps.
Yeah,
if you've got a
does.
fridge full of leftovers. Have you ever used it for
I
any of these
have
like small
actually
life
for
hacks?
something just like this. Like I sometimes cannot for the life of me think of what I want to eat or what I want to make. And then when it comes to like getting groceries, it's like, all right, I don't know what to get because it's like I don't know what to make. And then even when you do know what to make, it's like sometimes you have to get a bunch of stuff and it's like I'm never going to use this for anything else but for this specific recipe. So I've used it for like, all right, like if I want like a high protein vegetarian meal and I want maybe multiple things, I'm like, tell me what are some things I can get and then make a lot of different types of things with. So I've used it for something like this as well, specifically.
And even with people that are allergic to certain foods
Yes.
too, right? Like alternatives
Yes.
or how to make this meal without dairy, right?
Yes,
I'm
I've done
sure-
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, how to make certain things without like the main thing that you need for it. And that's been pretty cool too.
So I'm not gonna, share everything that I've ever done here, but everything from learning about crypto taxes to this Mississauga rap cipher. There's an event called Rivermouth. We just had our 2nd iteration this year. I'm gonna pull back the curtain on that one a little bit as we get into the conversation today. But MRii, I used ChatGPT, I used Gemini, Google's AI, I used Adobe Photoshop, all of these tools to make that happen. Can you tell me of an instance where you maybe didn't have all the resource to do something, but you found a way to do it by using AI?
Yes. So like sometimes as an artist and as a creative that's doing so many like a million different things, I feel like time is like one of the biggest things that I don't seem to have sometimes, or time or energy to put into certain things. And I feel like it has helped me a lot to just get through that. You know what I mean? It's like if I have something to do, it's like I don't even know how I'm gonna get it done. I want to get it done. AI will help me because I can tell them like, all right, like this is what I want to do, and it'll help me find like my pathway there. It's like I used to before AI, I would get stuck, because it's like, oh my God, like I literally don't know what to do next. I don't know who to ask. I don't know where to get help. Even like Google searching doesn't help sometimes because it's like so specific. So yeah, that's been one of the biggest things that it has helped me with.
There's a time to use ChatGPT, I think, and there's a time to use Google. Do you still
Yes.
find yourself using traditional search engines now that you're...
Very rarely. I don't know if you've seen a lot, but on the internet, people have been saying TikTok is the new Google. I find myself searching stuff on TikTok before I search on Google. Yeah.
That's crazy to me. That's wild.
Yeah.
And the analytics and the videos that you can have from TikTok too, with the
Yeah.
captions and everything, which
Yeah.
we'll be getting into that. When ChatGPT hit the scene, let's call that the D-Day or AI Day
Yeah.
in November of 2021, and that was the opening for a lot of people to AI, right? For me personally, I was really fortunate. I had some time to myself, and I dove into these tools and used it. I don't know about you, but for me, I was worried that I wouldn't know how to do it, if that makes sense. Like, if you look at C+ or Python or any of these web languages, you got to learn the language. You got to learn how to write the code. There's syntax, all these things. I was really excited because I could talk to this thing like it was my friend.
Yes. That's the best thing about it, I feel.
I'm like, hey, Gem, like Gemini. Hey, how you doing, Gem? I'm always saying please and thank you, just in case. Just in case. You never know when T1000 comes.
Yeah.
But the idea that you're a computer programmer and you didn't even know it, right? The idea that natural language is being used these days to create multimodal generative AI. So when I say multimodal, I mean text, images, voice, video, all the forms that artists work within,
Yes.
right? What are some tips that you would say around what people are calling prompt engineering, the idea of prompting AI, telling it what you want? Do you have any tips that you wanted to share?
Yes, because this is something I had to learn as I was using it more and more. When you are too generic or too broad, I guess, about what you're talking about, you're also going to get the most generic responses. And I feel giving AI the more information about what it is that you're even trying to complete, like the project or the intention behind why you're even having the conversation, I feel like that really helps hone in on like the niche or whatever it is that you're focusing on. And then so giving as much information as you can before even asking the questions helps a lot. And then secondly, like asking the right questions, if that makes sense, asking in the right way, that has helped a lot. Because
trust me, my theme of 2024 is to over communicate.
Yes.
With humans and AI alike, I think
Yes.
I want to make sure that I'm as clear and concise as possible. So that's why I really love prompt engineering, because it challenges me not only as an input,
Yes.
but like, how do I tell you what I'm thinking?
Exactly.
Or what I want, right? Or
Exactly.
how do you do that? This last tip here on the page, I think, is a game changer. I mean, I can sort of read through this, but it's really about best in, best out. So the best context, the best constraints, the best understanding of what you're looking for, you're going to get the best output. It's guaranteed, right? You put in a really basic, write a song. And I've done this. I'm sure you've done this too, right?
I have.
Write a song about love. Or you could even be more specific about that, and you'll find it's pretty trash, let's say.
Very.
So don't rely on ChatGPT for your songwriting. It's great for brainstorming. But the idea that I really wanted our audience to understand today, and I'd love to hear examples of you using this, but telling the AI to act as if. So you've probably put in a prompt before and it says, sorry, I'm a AI thing and I can't do this for you.
Yeah.
You ever gotten that
Yeah.
like hard block before? And you're like, come on, like you told me everything. Just answer the question,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
If you ever are using ChatGPT, Gemini, any of these Copilot tools, using the command to act as a legal representative, act as your target audience, right? If you are a South Asian festival looking to market in Brampton, you can specifically speak to your AI with that as your constraint. I think that's so powerful because, like, for instance, myself, I'm not South Asian. I don't live in Brampton, so I can't say, with firm assertion, like, this is the truth, but I can use a tool, right? Do you find yourself using that act as?
Yes, I do. Because sometimes it's like when it comes to making posts on social media or even like marketing specific events to different crowds, it's like, okay, how am I going to tackle this? Or even like harder conversations sometimes. It's like, how am I going to give this message, deliver this message in the right way where it's like I'm doing it respectfully, I'm hitting the points that I need to and getting the results that I want. I think doing that in the right way is really important. So AI has helped a lot with that. So it's like act as if, for example, if I need to like have a hard conversation with like a promoter or an artist or something like that, somebody that I'm working with, it's like, what do I need to be mindful about? How can I tackle this properly? That has helped a lot in that
Really,
sense.
eh?
Yeah. Even in like personal conversations, like it's like if I'm dealing with something with a friend or somebody and it's like, how do I properly tackle this conversation? And having that pre-conversation with ChatGPT or AI has helped a lot because it's like now I know like how my thoughts are even like being or the things that I'm saying are being received and how what's being made sense of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and telling the AI what you want and telling it how to give it to you, right, it is going to give you that best answer. Let's get right into some hacks because I think, for me, this is a hack that I use all the time. The idea of recording your meetings.
Yes.
If you're on Google Meet, if you're on Zoom, if you're on WhatsApp, I'm pretty sure you could record, right?
Yeah, I like this. I really like this.
Have you ever used this technology before?
Yes,
Yeah.
the little bot.
How did you use it?
So I've had like a lot of Zoom meetings and phone calls, and I like to be present. Like as much as I want to take notes and like jot down everything that's being talked about, I just like to like be present in the conversation. So having that bot in the meeting as well is so useful because they cover everything. They take like the photos of important things in like meetings. Like, yeah, it's just very, very helpful and has helped me because it's like now I can go over everything without needing to have done that during the meeting, and everything just kind of makes sense, you know, taking that information, being able to put that into like, all right, like this is what we're going to do next, making things easier in the process.
Creating actions
Yes.
without having to think about those actions.
Exactly. It's fun not having to use your
Mhm.
brain, I feel.
Mhm. If anyone's in like corporate America, a lot of organizations have like Teams, and Copilot is built into that now,
Yeah.
and it's made things a lot easier.
That's
I mean,
what it's
for
called,
my meetings personally through work, is like I could miss the first 20 minutes of the meeting,
Yeah.
roll in and say, what did I miss? And it's going to tell me, not that I do
Yes.
this, but it can give me those updates, right? Or
Yes.
after the meeting, and you can ask direct questions like, what are MRii's takeaways from this call, right? Or
Yes.
what are the timelines for what we talked about,
Yes.
right? Where instead of looking at your notes afterwards on a piece of
Yeah,
paper trying to figure it out,
exactly.
using that. I use it a lot for actions. I think actions are like our job when we're working
Yes.
with AI is like we have to do the thing.
Yes.
We're like the catalyst.
Yes.
Before and after, almost, right? Okay, I want to get into a real world situation. So I was telling you about Rivermouth 2. This is an event that we did in Mississauga. It was a 3-day event that we were celebrating hip-hop and Mississauga's 50th anniversary.
Nice.
So we had support from the Mississauga Arts Council, the City of Mississauga, and a lot of great community organizations like Ghost Town Records and different, local
The homies.
arts. Exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out Ghost Boy. So with that being said, we had one day where we did a panel. So I brought, we had Rich Kid, Frost Flow, Demetrius Nath, and friends speaking with Testament about, the future of Mississauga, where it's been, how it's going. This is a project that it was sort of like a passion project. I'll be very honest with you. We didn't have lots of budget. We didn't have lots of, manpower behind us. So we took, shout out to Creators at Play. We got Phil in the building filming the live stream today. But he was our rock, capturing the whole talk. And so I had a 45-minute video. And I'm going to show you guys something here. If you're not already, well, spoiler alert. If you're not already tuned in here, the tool that I'm about to talk about is called Opus.pro. It's free for 90 minutes, like 90 minutes of content for free. And there's obviously you can buy credits like most of these tools these days. Which, at first I was like, man, they're nickel and diming me everywhere. But where else can you get like these kind of tools? That's sort of where I'm coming to grips with. Like, I don't mind to pay $20 for a service that's going to let me do everything we just talked about and more.
In one click.
And even with like the app that we're going to kind of discover a little bit more about later, is like having these live conversations with AI. But I'm going off on a tangent here. Opus Pro is a tool that I discovered. And like I said, the problem that we had was we had this 42-minute conversation, really. They were talking about their favorite Mississauga hotspots, what are some of the issues, this and that. All I had to do was take the YouTube link, pop it in here, and it, after a minute, or maybe, let's call it 20 minutes, it popped out all of these clips, let's see, 26 different clips from that talk. I'm going to just jump into maybe one or two of them here, and you could probably hear them in the stream, hopefully.
Mississauga specific. What are
But
some
the
of those
idea
things that we
of
want to see, whether
it
those
took
are
my
like
talk,
actual events
it added
or
captions,
or
it
even
timed
just
the captions,
mentalities
it put it
in
on the
terms of
screen,
embracing
and
how
it's also
big
cutting
hip-hop is and
between,
what it can
for instance,
actually do
a live
for the artists that come from our city.
wide angle, like we're looking at here,
I think
can
there's
be
a lot
cut
of
to the
things,
different speakers. This is
the
something that's
venues,
being
like just
done,
more
again,
spaces
completely by
that are
AI.
around
And it's a free
live
tool to start
performance
with. I think something
or
like this is a game changer.
connection
As a
with
video creator,
some of the, the lesser heard
I
communities.
mean, I can only attest, and
with
Phil, you
the
could probably
city of
talk about the
Mississauga,
hours
like,
it takes.
come up with some plans to
Before there was
find,
the
some
AI, like
deterrents for the
figuring out the words
violence
and creating those auto
and,
captions.
like the other
You're
stuff
typing,
happening in
stopping,
these
typing,
neighborhoods,
stopping,
and then,
typing,
like, try to turn
timing
it
it on
around
the
and
screen, doing all
bring
of
some
these things.
positive to
Words
these
night and
neighborhoods.
day
So
now.
then
Like,
it's
literally
kids
night and
look
day.
at artistry as a viable
I'm thinking about
way
like the
to,
ways I can use
come up
this.
with some plans to
Like if you have
So one of the
any
things I wanna
long form
ask to our
content
panelists
Yeah.
are
that
is
you're
like,
looking,
the reason part of y'all are here is because we know y'all love hip hop and beer.
sorry, we're muting. I'm playing too much.
Sometimes
Are we good? Perfect. Sorry about that. I just wanted to show some of these examples of clips, like I said, Frost talking about unlocking youth potential. I didn't write any of this.
Yeah.
None of it.
I love
we
that.
led the conversation. Obviously, we planned it, how Testament was going to ask questions and what we wanted to get into. It created all of these clips, right? So even if I can take 5 of these and promote
Yeah.
the stream, right? Like some of them might be trash, as we know, right? And
Yeah.
if you haven't played around with AI and any of these tools, there is a lot of grooming that you got to do to get the right response, I feel.
You got to put in the right prompts,
Mhm.
all of that.
So what do you think about this tool?
I think it's amazing. I'm just thinking about whether I could use it for a long DJ set and have it find some good clips for me that I can use on social media to promote the set.
Do you have why don't we go to your YouTube right
Yes,
now?
I do have one.
Let's try it.
Actually, if
Live
you
demo,
look up
baby.
Risky Business, I have another
Risky business.
venture.
Okay. Tell us.
Yeah, so it's me and my friend Brisky. We're a new DJ duo. If you write Raf Sapera. So we recently launched
Raf?
our RAF
Mhm.
space SAPP. Yeah. Yes, that's the one. So yeah, we recently launched our DJ duo because we play a lot like together, and I feel like we were like, wait, we're so good together. We need a DJ name so people can book us as an act. And we did our debut set together at Raf Sapera's after party. He's a Punjabi rapper from UK, and it was so good. We filmed the whole thing and put it on YouTube. And I have yet to like go through it. I was like thinking about going through the whole thing, finding the best moments, editing the little clips,
As you would.
all
right?
of it,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
I would, as I've been doing. Now that I know about this tool, I feel like I could just feed this into that. And
I was gonna say we could do it right now. I don't have
Oh,
enough free
yeah.
credits, but if you started an account,
yes,
which I don't feel comfortable doing that for you right now, probably mess up something. But I would recommend you do that and
I
you let us
definitely
know.
would.
Like,
Yeah.
share me some screenshots afterwards. See if
Yes.
this is something that could actually work for you.
Yes.
Because the use case that I had it was for like a podcast.
Yes.
More so, right? Like
yes.
talking.
I wonder. That's why I wonder how it would be on a DJ set.
But you've already got it in a square format. If you
Yes.
wanted to get it in a vertical format, it's a
Yes.
click away, right? It's a
Yes.
horizontal click away.
Exactly.
Thanks for sharing some of this. I think we got to throw this in the chat here
Yes.
for people to
Check out Risky Business on Instagram and YouTube.
Risky business.
Yes.
You're lucky. You got the whole tag like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let me jump back into this because I think showing you guys Opus Pro, I mean, I could just stop there, right? Like that is sort of like a game changer
Yeah.
for a lot of people, but that's just like a one-off thing. This is when we look at what's available, it's just the tip of the iceberg that I'm finding. If you go on YouTube and you say AI hacks for creatives, for instance, you're going to find every creator from the last 2 months to now, or 2 years to now, is going to have like their top 10, right? I was hoping to just sort of share my personal, and I was
Yeah.
hoping that you can kind of share yours, because
Yes.
there are so many ways that people are using AI, right?
I don't think I know all of them either.
No.
Barely.
So let's go through a little bit more here. I did want to get into the idea of the second hack. When let's say 15 years ago, if you lost your job and you needed to learn a new set of skills, what would you do?
Maybe go to the library.
YouTube maybe?
Yeah. Did YouTube exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that old, I hope.
Yeah. Maybe go on YouTube, look up, maybe Google search what I can do with the skills that I have. I feel like it'd be really hard
to
finding
like
out
learn a new thing.
like
right?
learn a new thing. Yeah, because you can only learn so much on YouTube, I feel. And I feel like back then there was only so much on YouTube too, right? So I guess you would have to maybe reach out to people that you know and figure stuff out.
We got 20 minutes. That's enough time.
I
From my
honestly wouldn't
personal
know.
experience, like I was working in sales maybe like 20 years ago now. It's been a while. And I had an opportunity to change my career. And I used everything at my disposal at that time, which was, Google, YouTube, Reddit, I think was, even around then. And it took a lot of time to know and to trust that you were doing the right things, right? Like if you don't know a damn thing about something and you just want to take that first step is so crucial, right? with the idea, and I just put this GIF in here. I mean, the idea that like I know Kung Fu, I know Google Fu, I know anything.
Yeah.
It's literally like having that little plug in the back of your head, without all the dystopia, right? Is there anything that you've learned apart from the philosophy that you mentioned?
I've learned, again, how to have like certain conversations, how to handle certain situations. I've learned a lot about myself because I've sometimes just had long conversations with AI, just discovering like, okay, why do I feel this way about certain things? And like,
So you probably save a lot of money on therapy.
yes, yes.
That's awesome.
So that's been fun. I've also learned how to like manage certain things. Like I know I've done events myself, but I obviously want them to grow to a larger scale. So for me to even think about how something like Boiler Room, like they did a huge festival in Toronto, how would I be able to do that from where I am right now, the concept and the ideas I have right now with my show Mazar, for example. It's like, how do I get that to that stage? And it's like just to like tie the gap in between, to fill those gaps that I don't know. Maybe it's like I don't know what I don't know, so to be able to ask that to AI, like I've learned a lot from that.
And the flip side of that too, right? Like if AI, like let's say ChatGPT, for instance, they've never heard of Mazar.
Yeah.
They don't, like, there's no reference points for it, right? So you're educating it.
Yes.
You're creating that language model,
Yes.
right, for it to then go back and ask it questions about it.
Yes. And the crazy thing is now, like, if you do ask AI, like, what is Mazar, they know, which is cool.
So you kind of like
Yeah.
put the note on the napkin.
Yeah.
You're like, hey,
Yeah.
that's dope. I used it most recently, I would
Okay.
say, for grant writing.
Yes, me too.
I'm not a grant writer. I never was successful with grants. I submitted for, Bravo Fact back in the day, to Factor. I mean, I've had a few successes, but nothing like life-changing.
I feel you.
And I took the opportunity to say, okay, if you're so smart, AI, give me some money, right?
Exactly. Just give me my money.
So I had a really great opportunity with that Rivermouth to use AI to help me create, what are they looking for in this application?
Yes.
Copying and pasting the questions,
Mm-hmm.
copying and pasting my program overview or what I wanted to do, and then having it sort of
Yes.
merge the rest, right?
Yes, yes.
Is that
I've
sort
done
of
that a
your
lot
experience?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I also help my dad with a lot of grant applications with his projects and with my own. And it's like when I was first starting out, I didn't know to use AI. So I was like doing as much as I can, putting as much as I could, like all my brain power into it. It was a lot. It was like hours typing up, making things sound good, and making sure like the project was making sense, making sure I was still sticking to the original project that I started out with, because it's such a lengthy process sometimes. But now with AI, it's like I can just kind of give them an idea, like, all right, this is what I want to do. Please help me. And yeah, it's been so helpful, not even just with the grant writing process, but it's like the way it's helped me like get a better idea of my project too and how I can better carry it out. So that's really cool for me.
Like finding those blind spots.
Yes,
that we're talking about,
yes,
right?
yeah, it's great.
In the spirit of live demos,
Ooh.
let's learn something right now.
Yes.
I think it would be really valuable to learn about TikTok,
Okay.
because you said TikTok is the #1 search engine.
Yeah.
So I've got, this is a new feature right here from Google Gemini, and ChatGPT has it as well, where you can have this live conversation. So I'm going to start a chat. I can't share this screen, but I'm going to keep it here. And we're going to say, hello, ChatGPT. Can you hear me? Sorry, I called her ChatGPT. Hey, Gemini, can you hear me? You don't want to talk. You don't want to talk today. That's fine.
I think if we tap it, it might stop. Like here. Hi. Oh no, because Siri does that.
Hi there, I'm Gemini. What can I do for you today?
We're trying to learn about TikTok today. What do we want?
TikTok, huh? It's like a whole world of short videos. You can find everything on there: funny skits, people dancing, sharing their lives, and tons of creative stuff. What about TikTok do you want to learn more about?
So my friend MRii here mentioned that TikTok is actually the #1 search engine, that people are actually learning the most things off of TikTok. What are people learning on TikTok?
That's right, TikTok's become a real learning platform. You'll find people sharing all sorts of skills and tips. Some of the most popular things people are learning include things like how to cook new recipes, how to do their makeup in new ways, or even how to dance those viral TikTok dances. It's got it all.
So how would I go about sharing AI hacks with creatives on TikTok?
Okay, TikTok's a great way to get the word out about AI tools, but it can be tough to pack a lot of info into a short video. Maybe try focusing on one tool at a time and keeping the videos super simple. You could start by showing a before and after example of what the AI can do. What about those AI art generators that can turn your doodles into masterpieces? You could start with a messy drawing, then boom, the AI turns it into something amazing.
That's actually an amazing use case. I think you wanted to talk about that one a little bit more, right?
Yes.
Taking a picture of something and augmenting it beyond what it is. Writing is obviously a big piece,
Yes.
right? I think we can sort of go through this. The way I look at it is like, you know, it's like Iron Giant, except you're the giant, and like the little robot is sitting on your shoulder telling you how to do things.
Yeah.
When you're writing, do you find yourself like using iterations on ChatGPT, like taking a copy
Always.
and sending it in? And
Always. I'm always like asking like, hey, sometimes for emails and stuff, it's like, how's my tone? Because sometimes you want to be firm, but not rude. So it's like, it's good to make sure. Sometimes it's like for Instagram captions, I sometimes just can't for the life of me think of what to caption a poster or like any post. So it's like.
and how do you go about doing that? Can we do
Yeah,
like a,
yeah, we can.
I'm assuming it's in ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT is my girl. So yeah, I'll just write, for example, I'm gonna put this down.
Want me to hold this one?
Thank you. Instagram caption for event Mazar. It's the last one of the year. Let's see. Okay.
So as we expect, pretty generic.
Yeah. So
Right.
this is pretty generic because I think maybe your ChatGPT doesn't know what mine does.
That's a very good point,
Bizarre.
right? And so when we're talking about AI, there's something that, you know, iteration is very important. And there's a term in the AI space that's being thrown around a lot. It's called RAG. Have you heard of it?
No.
Retrieval Augmented Generation. Essentially, it's the idea of asking for something again, just keep asking for something, and the results that are coming back to you are not necessarily just, you know, the data. It's actually generative.
Yes.
It's actually insightful. It's taking your direction based off of all the iterations.
Yes. Like it learns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
Just like a chat would do, right? Like if
Yeah.
we're in one of these chats here, it's going to keep going, right? And that's how I was able to use it for Rivermouth, was to keep everything in that chat. Okay,
Yes.
here's how I want to do it. Okay, here's the dates. All right, write a summary of these events. And it had all the details already.
Yeah.
Right? Please, if you're not already using it, this is a free tool we're sharing with you guys, ChatGPT. Google has Gemini as well. Free accounts, you can sign up and use them today. That's the place to get started, really. I think, you know, text is real cool and all.
Yeah.
What about visuals?
Visuals. Yes.
What about visuals? I think, you know, when we talk, let's skip that for now. We're going to come back to that. Using the visual elements of what, you know, whether it's DALL-E built into ChatGPT or Adobe Photoshop you were mentioning.
Yes, that's the one.
How do you use AI in your visual worlds?
There's a lot of different ways. So for one, the easiest one is like expanding the images. Sometimes like you know, sometimes like photographers or like people that use their phone for photos will get a vertical or like a horizontal picture, and like it's like the opposite of what you want for your graphics. So using just like a generative expand tool has helped a lot for me to like fill up the space, make it fit good for the proportions or the use that I want to use those images for. Secondly, it's like,
So are you literally like changing the artboard? Like you're
sort
changing
of,
your dimensions
yeah,
and then it's just asking it to...
Yeah. So it's like if there's like a horizontal image for like a vertical poster, it's like now I can fill up that whole blank space with something generated by AI, and it's like
more of that wall. Or
more of
something.
the wall, or sometimes it's more people in a crowd. It's a bunch of stuff, so that's really cool to me.
It's funny you mentioned that. I literally used that for the Hustle Mississauga events that are coming up
yeah.
for the designs. We had like an image of Jay O'Meara's in like a jersey. It was just sort of like a regular, degular background. And I was like, what if he was on a court, right? And drew an outline around them, removed from the background of that picture, told Adobe, make a basketball court. And I got like
Nice.
3 versions, you know what I
Wow.
mean? And they were all sort of tonal and very fitting with the actual image.
I like that.
I love that personally. Like, it's such a shortcut, right? When you
It
get those
is.
images, you're like, this needs to be
Yes.
horizontal and I don't have enough space. What do I do?
Yeah, coming from somebody that used to like Google search for images and look for the best one and then like fight for my life to make it work with other things, like this is such a game changer, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to go into Photoshop, but I don't have it on this computer.
Mhm.
We're running the stream off that one.
Oh, yes.
But I would love to do that. Maybe that's a part 2 or something.
Yes,
We
yeah.
could do like
I should have brought my
a
laptop.
Photoshop off or something. Like, what can
Yeah.
you make? Because it's
Yes.
literally the possibilities are
Yeah,
endless.
the way like I put in sometimes, like I know for like this one poster that I made, I wanted like a star background, and I couldn't find what I wanted online, and I just kept feeding it like, give me a star, a retro background, and as much as I refreshed it, I got what I needed.
There's one tool here that I was going to go through really quickly that I think is a game changer for inspiration.
Okay.
So with Adobe, you can go in, you can edit, you got layers and stuff. That's not necessarily here. Putting all my credentials on the screen so people can just, sign in for me. Not. Stay sign in. So if most people know, Microsoft bought ChatGPT, or a majority of ChatGPT. OpenAI is the parent company, and they're owned like 51% or 52% by Microsoft.
Nice.
So all the tools have been brought into the Microsoft Teams and Outlook and all that. But there's this one tool which was part of OpenAI's catalog called DALL-E. DALL-E is an image generation
Yes.
tool. And so they've packaged it with Bing. If you go to bing.com/create,
Yeah.
this is sort of where you end up. And so I can go through and show you guys like
Oh my
some
gosh.
examples. Like this was like I asked it for the Gujarati version of the Golden Girls,
Oh my God.
and it generated this image for me.
Wow.
No other context beyond that, right? We were looking. I had a friend named Frank, and I'm like, hey, what about for Halloween? You give out these Frankensteins.
I like
And
that.
I just literally gave it like a Valentine's Day card with Frankenstein on it. It's a Frankenstein card.
I like that.
And look like some of the results that come out of this. Obviously, not all of these are like you need these things
Yeah.
to change your life. But when you need a quick image, like I needed a lineup of people at a coffee bar. I literally, you can see here at the top, this is where the prompts go in and you would create it.
Wow.
Let's do a one on the fly here while we got a couple
Yes.
minutes.
I would like to see what AI does with the information of a South Asian diasporic rave. Yeah. In Toronto. Maybe you can write underground as well, like an underground. Yeah, underground DJs. What else can we say?
We can start there.
Yeah, let's see.
It's as easy as typing in your prompt, which is the words, your natural language, however you want to say it, spelling mistakes, everything. It's able to read through some of your nonsense. But as we're waiting here,
Yeah.
you can see how fast that was, pulling up 4 different iterations
Wow.
of what a South Asian diasporic rave in Toronto underground DJs would look like.
I like this.
And we didn't really prompt it on the style. It sort of took its own,
Yeah.
it's creating like photorealistic images. Would you say these are kind of
This is a little
accurate, or-
accurate. Yeah. I mean, the crowd doesn't look as diverse as I would imagine it did, but this is
That's pretty fire.
cool. Oh, that was sick.
as a little aside, most of these images that are in this presentation were actually generated by
Oh,
Google.
wow.
So there's a tool within your Google, if you have Gemini,
Mhm.
where you can actually go and say, replace the image, help me create an image.
Wow.
And that same functionality is built into Google as well.
Amazing.
This stuff is kind of game-changing for a lot of people. I'm super happy to just share with anyone that will listen. If you know me, I'm like an AI delusionist. I'm like, it can change the world. It can do everything. And then, sometimes people around me are like,
I love it.
it can't do that. And you're like, what? Just wait a year. Just wait till
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
5.0 comes out. So let's get through here. I did want to just share this case study. I wanted to share with you and our audience about Rivermouth. This was an opportunity that came through the live music grant program at City of Mississauga. Like I was saying, I'm not a grant writer. I've never done a lot of successful grants, but I took the questions, I took what was, what they were looking for to help celebrate live music in the City of Mississauga, and I said, I always wanted to do this. So I had an idea, Mississauga means where the river's mouth, like there's a few different translations, but literally means the river mouth.
Wow.
And I was like, well, if I'm going to do a rap event in Mississauga, I'm going to call that Rivermouth.
Period.
And so, taking that inspiration and really moving it through, some of the branding that some people have seen on T-shirts and posters, the mouth was 50% AI generated. It was an idea. I wanted to show all the actual inspiration here. This was for this year's event where I used the same approach. And sort of went through and just said, we've got this logo with blue lips, and it's called Rivermouth. And as you can see, like some of the AI-generated content, the text actually works nowadays. Have you ever, back in the day, I would say back in the day, like a year ago, when you tried to have it write text,
The
and
text
it was
was all weird,
it was all gobbledygook. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's changing
That's
every day
really
too,
cool.
right? If you want to make a flyer, you can literally just put all the information in. I'm not trying to lose any work here, though, so I'm not going to say anything else. But the idea that, what we did with Rivermouth was amplified and enabled by AI. I couldn't have done it without AI,
Yeah.
Is there any projects that you can think of that you wouldn't have been able to do
Let me think.
without that little, R2-D2 in the
Yeah.
back that's just helping?
I wouldn't say entirely. Like, it has helped me, conceptualize a lot. But I wouldn't say I wasn't able to do anything without it. Yeah.
That's the ledge.
Not yet.
That's the
Yeah.
I felt real froggy, and I was like, I'm going to jump in. If this falls on its face, I can just blame the technology. No, I'm just kidding. But the idea that, I couldn't have done everything. I couldn't have. There's no way, right?
Yeah.
And then being able to create the impact. This is just a photo from some of the events that we did last month at Rec Room Square 1, the Malton Youth Hub. If I wasn't able to, come together with AI and say, let's package this event somehow.
Yeah.
The event never would have happened.
I get that.
Right? So I'm saying all this to say, I don't want to discourage people if you don't feel comfortable with AI. Still do your thing. But AI and the tools that are available to us make it even better. Right?
I see that. It does. It really does.
And I'm going to be using, I've already had to put together the grant report with the city and with Mississauga Arts Council. Hopefully they're not watching that. I'm just kidding. Using AI prompts to help answer those questions effectively, put them in my own voice, my own tone, and deliver actionable results. Again, right? Just like we were talking about mining for minutes, taking every minute of your calls and seeing those insights. I did that with everything in the same chat, right?
Nice.
And I think you've done that same thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to open it up if there was any questions in our chat. I think Jesse had one question here that he was mining for us. And I'm just going to leave this on here to just show the artwork because I was really proud of it. I think it was something
amazing.
Different,
Yeah.
being able to bring Mississauga.
How else would somebody make that, how else?
I'm not sure. That's what I mean. I don't know. I wouldn't have had the resources to hire an illustrator and, do all of these things. It's like, I can do it in Photoshop, right? You draw a box and you say, make this now. And that's add a bottle, add a person, add a thing, take away this.
Yes.
Cool. Well, we've explored a lot, MRii.
I've learned a lot.
Me too. Thank you so much for making some time here for the Rooted
Thank
Pet,
you.
the workshop. I think the last thing that we wanted to go through was the questions that we had in the chat. If there aren't any, then I think we can just finish it off here with any last minute things that you want to leave our audience with, things you're looking forward to maybe in the world of AI.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting AI on my phone. I heard Apple is coming out with an AI. So I'm wondering how exactly that's going to play into my day-to-day usage of my phone. I look forward to having more conversations with the AI. I feel like I would learn a lot again about myself and just everything. I feel like you can have a good conversation with AI and learn about. So, yeah, that's something I'm excited about.
Yeah, great. Well, Marie, I wanted to thank you, and I also wanted to thank everyone tuning in today. We're here in Masti, a beautiful restaurant in Brampton. They've been courteous enough to open up their space here for our live stream today. Wanted to shout out all of our sponsors. This has been presented by Akisa. I'm going to read them off just so I don't miss anybody, because without y'all, we wouldn't have been able to do this. I want to shout out our sponsors for Rooted. This is our first Rooted festival. We have Advanced Brampton Fund, TD Bank, Wow Mobile, BOW, that's the Brampton Arts Org. They're killing it. Love you guys. The Academy presents. We got Jesse Otaki always holding it down. Creators at Play, Big Phil behind the camera. 40 Ounce Heroes, that's the clique, that's the crew we represent. We're trying to put it on for you. And of course, Masti. We're here in this beautiful restaurant. I got to come back and try some olagobi, or get some of that vegetarian food. How can people find you?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Prod by MRii. That's PRODBYMRII. Or you can just go to my website. It's prodbymrii.com. You can find my music, my YouTube, and I have like DJ sets on there. You can watch me DJ. And yeah, you can find everything on my Instagram.
And we're going to go find those short clips that you're about to cut up off of Opus Pro on your Instagram.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We see you at the next Rooted. Peace. So weird with like nobody.